General Treatment Product video training. What we're going to do here, let me check my numbers here. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to show you how to set up cycles, okay, and how to make this controller, the 600, work on cycles. Now it only has a dual input for sensors, so we have used both of them for the connectivity. So I've gone ahead and wired them in. So I followed my two wiring labels. I have two sensor cards. Make sure you have a second one, and I do have connectivity going here, connectivity going here. And really I just kind of pulled the pH that was running to it just because this is my demo, okay? There's three sensors going in there, but there's only two that I can use. So right now I should see connectivity and connectivity, and one of them says C-con, and then the other one says just con. Just to make it clear, sensor 1 I'm going to designate as the system, which is 586, and the other connectivity sensor I'm going to make up as the makeup. So I'm going to go into there, I'm going to hit the maintenance, and I'm going to pan all the way to the bottom, and I'm going to go to name, just to make sure that I don't get this. I'm going to say, I'm going to shift M, shift U, and then I'm going to space C, C-con. Okay, just so I know the difference when I'm looking at it and I'm going to set it up. I'm going to hit the check mark. I'm going to come back to that menu and I'll show you what I did. Is now one says makeup conned and conned. Okay, that way I go in and go into it. So what the 600 and the 900 also do, which the new Webmaster does, is they create these virtual sensors. A virtual sensor is going to do the calculation for the bleed so that we can then run cycles. Okay, so it is kind of three-step. You need to make sure you get your sensor set up, and then you got to go in and you got to create a virtual sensor. So I'm going to go to inputs again. I'm going to pan down, and you'll see D1s, 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 and then you'll see these V's, these V numbers, unassigned V1. So I'm going to click on that. It says unassigned V1. I'm going to hit the thing. I'm going to go type, and I'm going to run a calculation. Okay, and I'm going to hit the check mark. Okay, it's going to give me a little second here, and it's going to say input 1, input 2, none disabled, so it doesn't have any of those things right now. So, okay, what I want to do, and we're going to both learn here real quick, low alarm, low alarm, high high alarm. I don't recommend the top two unless you really want to, but I do recommend going into low alarm. Say if it was 0.5 cycles, if it ever got to 0.5, it means that it's almost filling up with brand new water. And if it ever gets to 4 cycles, I want to hit, make sure that your high alarm and your low alarm mean something to you and your customers. So that way you can go, the high and the low are moved out of their way, so I'm really not worried about those too many. The deadband that's here is based on just the sensors and the inputs and that calculation. The range is going to be 0 to 100. I don't necessarily want it 0 to 100, but I want it 0 to, say, 10 cycles is my range. I'm going to pan this thing down. Calculation mode, this is ratio. So really what I'm going to do is a ratio. You could pick total difference, which you can do like 2 pH sensors. You can go off a difference, or percentage of difference. Okay, so it does let you do like a redundancy on sensors. Okay, so input number 1, and here's where I'm kind of guessing because I don't remember which one. In a ratio you have to have a numerator and denominator, basically on a fraction, and I'm not positive which one goes on top, but I'm going to pick connectivity, S1, and then for 2 I'm going to pick the makeup connectivity. Okay, so I'm going to hit the check. Right now smoothing factor, if you want to smooth it out, right now it says calc, or you may want to change that to say cycle, C-Y-N-C-L-E-S, cycles. Let me hit that. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to look at it, and it says 1.03. I know that my makeup sensor is higher than my other one. That's reading 1.03 cycles. I picked it the right way. So we're going to put in the lower input as input value 1. The higher input value is 1, and the lower one is 2. So basically, when it says input, this will be the system, input 2, makeup. Okay, so it says 1.3 cycles already because the system is 7.81. So now I've got it doing the calculation for me. And now I'm going to go into my outputs and I'm going to tell it I want to run 3 cycles. So I'm going to go into my on-off, which is one I'm going to designate as my bleed. You hit here, I'm going to go to auto. Okay, but it still says set point. That's not really what I want to do. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to go to input where it says connectivity, and I'm going to pan down to the virtual sensor, which is cycles. Okay, so now it knows, give it a half a second. Now it should change all those things for me. See, set point at 50, deadband of 1. Right now, I'm going to switch it to auto because the set point was at 50, so that's why it came on. So right now I want to run 3 cycles. Deadband of 0.5 cycles. And duty cycle 00, but still see it's on. So I bet you that if I come down here, it's forcing it higher. And when we're doing bleeds, we want this force higher to be force lower. So it's going to go off here now. Okay, so now it's looking a little bit more friendly. I'm going to go back up to the top of this one to make sure that we have this right. Hand off auto to auto, check. Set my set point at 3, because 3 cycles, I'm based on that sensor coming in. Deadband of half a cycle. Duty cycle period and duty cycle at 100%. That's fine. If you want to put it on delay or an off delay, if it's jumping around, you want to delay it just a second. Make sure you stay in there. So that's what those are for. Output time limit. This is a bleed. Don't necessarily want to put an output time limit. I wanted to bleed it down as far as it can get. Reset. If you ran and ran through that thing. Interlock channels. Interlock channel would be your D1. You want to make sure you're tied in with your flow switch. Activate with channels doesn't make sense in this one. Minimum cycle relay. Now, minimum cycle relay would be based on the type of valve. You can set it for 20 seconds minimum, 30 seconds minimum. So I'm going to set it for 30 seconds. Sorry, it went down. Hand limit time, 10 minutes. You just want to open the valve for 10 minutes. Reset the time, and you can see again here we have our input as virtual 1 cycles. Our direction is force lower, okay, because that's what we would do bleed. And right now it says the name is on off, but we don't necessarily want to walk up to the machine and say on off. So I'm going to make it say bleed, and I'm going to hit the check mark. That way it makes more sense to everybody, and that thing is set. So remember, it's 3 steps. Make sure you get your sensor in. Make sure you get your sensor wired, and you have your second card in. Get your second wired over here. Your first sensor's over there. Figure out which one is which when you go to do your inputs. You have connectivity and makeup connectivity. Make sure you get those set up. Then you have to set up the virtual sensor, which is the one that's doing the calculation for you based on how many cycles it is. Okay, then you go into your outputs and you make your bleed valve. I'm going to hit the thing and I'm going to make it come down here, and you make sure that you're looking at your input is cycles. Very good.